What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Welcome to each and every one of you all who have come in today because I want to drop some knowledge and share some things that has transpired with our lovely couple, the arrivals, who are in the Gambia, who I guess basically says that they are ready to move on from the Gambia. They've had some really tough times, I think. Um, and why isn't my not my chat working here? Hold on a second, my comments. Okay, there we go. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all. But I want to get into this because hopefully this will help people when they come across these videos that sometimes people by their experience, they don't want to uh, mess up, maybe people's ideas of coming to Africa or the experience. They don't want to maybe tarnish a name or whatever of their experience in a country and all that right there. But I watched their video the other day. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. The arrivals that are in the Gambia. Now I've been to the Gambia, and so I'm going to share some of my input, my view on some things that have been transpiring by those I know personally that's on the ground there, and also just speaking of some of their experiences that many maybe you have not known of why is it that people are leaving the Gambia. I can't speak for everybody as a whole. I cannot speak for each individual person that's there. Everybody has their own experience and their own perception. What I want to do is really speak from my experience and what I find and hear that maybe can help those who are transitioning over to Africa to different countries so that maybe we may not make those same different decisions and have the same outcome, or making some of the same decisions and having the same outcomes, so that maybe you can find the best place for you to fit in, and not only to move if you that's what you want to do, but also to visit. Because I do know that there are a lot of people who have moved to Africa because off of other people who's moved to Africa. There are those who's come visit Africa because of other people who's been to Africa. So I understand and I get it. But let's talk about Kenny and Terry. Kenny and Terry, a couple who has the YouTube channel, The Arrivals. Please go subscribe to them. Beautiful couple. A brother and a sister who went on their journey to Gambia. And I don't know their whole story, just what I've watched of their videos. And I've watched quite a few of their videos. I've done a video of them before when they've had an intruder that came in and broke into their house. And it caused really it set them back. That was very emotional, trying the situation. And I'm gonna tell you this right here: there is nothing worse than being violated in one aspect of somebody stealing from you, especially when you don't know who it is, and you start to wonder who is the person that is at me, who is the persons or person that has violated us, who have intruded in our private space that we don't have a clue. And then your mind starts playing tricks on you, and you start to look at people that you think's your friends or your family members, and you're wondering, is it them or isn't that? That's one of the worst feelings to have when you don't know. And I know Terry and Kenny, when they had their first break-in, that basically a lot of their electronics and technology was stolen, and they had to make up for those things that they were missing. And so, when it came to that, they kept on, they kept on building their house, then they wind up, they got their property, build their fence, build their house, and continue on to build a smaller version of their house that they were living in. And so it got to a place to where that was broken into. They bust through the wall, got in, and I'm not sure all what was maybe stolen, but to be violated as somebody breaks through the wall of your house can really send you in an emotional roller coaster. Because, like Kenny, he's a man, not only a man, but he's a black man. And when we feel as though that we have kind of lose control of being the protector and provider, especially when you have your lovely wife who may be feeling certain kind of ways and you feeling helpless at times. When you feel as though that you can't provide that protection and your family is like feeling maybe, helpless, that, what can we do in a foreign country when you can go to the police all day long? But even then, you're looking at the police as though that, are they really helping? Are they in on it? Because we do know corruption's everywhere. And we do know that when we are dealing in some of these countries where people can be bought, it's a bad feeling. And so once they have been, they were violated twice by people who have stole from them, and they thought they were making headway. They kept on building. A lot of time and energy they put into their project, into their dreams, into their goals. And to have this second time happen, you got to go back to the drawing board and really rethink that, where are you, and should you continue on this journey, especially if you feel as though you're not welcomed, or those who are around you may be the villains who are the perpetrators in you getting violated. And so when we look at this, I can understand why they decide that they're going to move forward and search into other countries. Now, let me share my experience, because I've lived around the world. I've moved so many times it ain't funny. And I'm going to say this for Africa, or any place really for that matter, anywhere you move. Let me say this, and I'm going to say this lightly, and this is not to trample on anybody's feet, but I've said this before. Gambia is a small country, and it's predominantly poor. It's a predominantly poor country. I've been there, I've seen it, and nobody can get upset when I'm saying that it is a poor country. And when you having people coming in by the numbers, especially Black Americans or those from the UK that are moving to Gambia, who are doing something unlike the Europeans. Now, there are those Europeans or those Lebanese who might have bought houses, or, who have property there, that live there in the Gambia. But what the African Americans and the African Europeans and UKians and the Kenyans are doing is, we're trying to get into the communities, to be part, to come back into a family network, where many Gambians don't understand this, let alone most Africans don't understand this. And I've said this before, is that even those who may look at us, they may look at us as just like a Bruni or Mzungu, a foreigner who's coming in, and all they see is opportunity to get money. Now, I'm gonna say this too, is that most Gambia, in my own opinion, will draw people who are probably wanting more of a countryside feel, not a robusting city life, and want land and just, lay back and take care of the land. And because of the cost of living being cheaper, it's attractive to those who may not have a lot of financial means. That attracts those who can get the ball rolling and get their life on a lower cost of living, to be able to have what's rightfully theirs in owning maybe property or building or what have you. But the problem of it is that I see, in my own personal opinion and experience, family, you still will be a prey, because of the fact that you have more than majority of the people there in that country. And your little bit that you think that you have is really considered a lot. And here's the sad part about it, is that coming in with the little you have, There are those who are wanting to take to have so that they can sell whatever they stole in order for them to have money without them realizing how much it took for you to get that little bit that's considered in the countries of the West that we come from. They will never understand that. I've tried to explain that till I was blue in the face, but many still see that we have an advantage. Now, how can we learn from this? I'm saying this right here. You have to get in where you fit in at. If you're trying to go ahead and start to build in a place that's predominantly poor, and you are a foreigner coming in, the chances of you being violated, robbed, stolen from, where have you, grows tremendously. Versus when you go to cities or countries rather, when you go to countries that have a strong middle income network, the chances of you being violated is decreased because the people are used to seeing people with things. And there's so many people that you don't stand out like a sore thumb waiting to be got. And in my professional opinion, I've said this before, don't go to a country and buy land within the first year. Don't try to go into your first country and try to settle and call it your home. I've seen it time and time again. People get there and find out this ain't the place for us. Now, all the energy and the money that you spent trying to get something started, and at the end of it all, you realize this ain't the place. I've said this before. All money ain't good money. All deals aren't good deals. Just because something is cheap does not make it the right place for you. Y'all know the old saying in America, if I can sell you land on a beach in Arizona, I can sell you anything. What does that mean? Well, we know Arizona don't have a beach. But those who are con men and scammers, they know when there are those who are looking for deals that you're willing to put up your money and you don't even have a clue of the area that you're about to move into. I've met people that were in Ghana that bought land out in the country. Come to find out you can't grow anything on the land. Our brother Kenny, and Terry, I love the two because they're just beautiful people who have a heart, and they really remind me of some of the of my loved ones and closest dears in my circle who have the heart and the drive, who believe that we're coming out of a land that was not conducive for them and wanted to settle in the place that they felt was for them. And I'm saying we have to have a mindset different than coming into Africa thinking you can just pitch your tent anywhere that you feel is that's for you. I've said this before. Africa is going to show you your weaknesses and your strengths. Africa is going to try you. You don't think I've been scammed since I've been in Africa? Thank God it was only a little money. you know, thank goodness it was only a little money. I'm saying follow my journey. Follow my journey. And for those who have not started your journey yet, who plan on, follow my journey. Because I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the indifferent in every country I go to. I find it amazing that those who have YouTube channels that people are subscribing to buy land or try to get on the ground and try to follow suit because this is where the masses are going, they run into a whole lot of mess. I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to put it out there and it's going to step on some people's toes. Do not try to go and be around groups of expats who are trying to develop an area just, emphasis on just for expats. You will stand out like a sore thumb, and guess who's waiting or guess who's licking their chops to come in and have what you have? If you're not getting into a community that is also bringing in the locals, something's wrong. I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't have a mindset of collectively trying to come into a place that's conducive to you, what do I mean? People who are at the same spirit, the same like mind, and also who have a means to do for self. What I mean by means to do for self, can they afford to be where you're building? Or you're going to have a community that's in the middle of poverty and you just build a community where people know that that's where money is and they got houses with stuff in it that we don't have. Guess who's coming to visit? Guess who's plotting and scheming? Guess who's going to try to befriend you and be your security guard coming on your property and watch over your place? Guess who wants to be your driver? Guess who's going to want to be your housemate? Guess who's going to want to be, and you don't know who is who? So that when your house is in violated, broken into, or what have you, now you're left with looking at people of how and who did this. This is being real. It's being real. I've done 3 videos of house invasions in the Gambia. And this is a typical subject. And I know at least 7 people who's been invaded or violated with their properties in Gambia. Now we know this house invasions happen everywhere. Even in America, it happens. It's just as probably not as often as you don't hear. Now you're hearing a little bit more nowadays because jokers who got guns now, they're desperate. They're trying to go ahead and get what's theirs. But typically everybody got guns in their house, so you got to approach with caution. Versus in Gambia and other countries, guns may not be prevalent or may not be around where people have access so that if somebody intrudes in your house, you can defend yourself. So yes, there's no place that's 100% safe. And anybody could be a victim. But the beautiful thing that I love about Kenny and Terry is they're not quitting. People might say they quit, they gave up. No, they didn't. No, they're not leaving Africa. They're still pursuing Africa. And I think they said that even Rwanda's on the list. And I'm telling you all right now, please go visit, look at my video of me and my wife sharing our personal opinion and views about Rwanda. I'm saying Rwandan is for the Rwandans. Rwanda is for the Rwandans. In my personal experience and belief that I am not going to buy anything out of Rwanda in the state of where it is. Nothing against the people, but the situations that's happened in the past. Come on, y'all. We got to start using wisdom when we start stepping into places. We got to start really put our self desires aside and do the pulse of the area where you're trying to go. You must know the history of a people. And if you can't respect the people and where they are, then you get caught in the middle of stuff. We know Rwanda has a history of suffering and pain from the genocide. We do know, I do know personally, that because of that, there are unforgiving hearts that I interviewed. They didn't want to be on the video, and I wouldn't dare release it, who share their personal views of the state of how the mindset is of the people. And when you have unforgiving hearts of what had happened to you and your family, guess what's going to happen? That which is smoldering will spark into a fire. This is why, in my own personal opinion, that President Paul Kagame is wanting to keep himself in the position he in as long as possible to keep this thing at peace. I'm not looking at trying to go ahead and just think about myself going to go ahead and get land and build my house and go get a business and stuff started. No, 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 no. Before I'm going to think about that, now I got investment properties in Africa, but living, I still have yet to find a place to live that I can say, this is the place. I haven't found the place. And I got 46 more countries to visit, or excuse me, 37 more countries to go visit. No, 30, I'm at 15. 38, 39 more countries to visit. I'm taking my time because I want to make sure that I have explored as much as possible. And I may not get to the 54. I might fall in places like that is it right here. Because I have at least a history or an experience with other African countries that I can measure up to. But everybody has their own system of faith and belief that they will go and where they believe they're directed to. I'll say this right here though, family. In the decisions we make, even look, I remember, let me tell you a little story for y'all. I remember because of my relationship with the Most High, just my relationship, everybody got their own relationships. When I was fretting about where I was going to retire at in America, I tossed and turned for months because I didn't want to plant my family in a place that was not conducive to us. And all I heard was, wherever you go, I shall be there. And that settled it. And I went. And I believe that to this day for me, wherever I settle shall be. But it says, faith without works is dead. That means I got work to do. That means I have to at least do my homework to ensure that I am not going into a situation that might be hot. Though the Lord may be with me, do I really want to go and exhaust energy, time, and money into a place and then have to uproot and leave? Well, sometimes you have to leave. Sometimes life is just a short chapter to get you to the next place where you need to be. Because unbeknownst to us, sometimes you are going to be used in a way to see how strong you really are. So my hat's off to Kenny and Terry because they feel as though there has to be some place that might be better for them to go. And I don't look at it as them quitting. Some people say you give up, you quit. When people say, well, you go in Africa, you quit, you just gave up on America, you're not here to fight this and that. Look, let me tell you something right here. I learned the great way. There's no such thing as quitting. There's not. There are some things you're built for, and it depends on the situation, especially when you're talking about life, death situations. It's different than when it comes to if you quit because you just don't want to do it. I used to be a football coach, head football coach, and for a city league, and took the young men, 14-year-olds, to the national championship. It was it was the playoffs that they had a national playoffs for the champion to become the champions. And we wind up getting into uh, a heck of some competition from around the US. And we played some teams that were just hardcore and we took a licking. But the last game we played, this team, I'm telling you, they was unstoppable to where they put two of my quarterbacks out of the game. My third quarterback, I was gonna I after my offensive line was not really equipped to handle the speed and the power this team had. They would bulldoze through the line, I mean, and just demolish my quarterback. And yet my second quarterback went down at the second quarter. I was telling my offensive line, I called a timeout and I said, look, if y'all can't do the job, I'm about to throw the towel in. They was like, really, coach? And they said, really, coach, because I'm a warrior and I fight until the end. But these aren't my kids. And this is not me. These are people's children. And for me to see people get injured, I had to make a decision. So I said, if you all cannot block to protect the third quarterback coming in, I'm going to throw this towel in. They went back out there a couple of plays later, bam, hit the quarterback. And I'm condensing this to save some time because the other couple of quarterbacks were complaining that the line was not protecting them. They sacked my quarterback. I took the towel and I threw it in. In all my years, I've never did such a thing. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right here. Them players came off the field and the whole team gathered and they were crying. We walked off of that team, off that field. We gave the team, we shook their hands and we walked off. Because when I threw that towel, the referee came over and he said, are you serious, coach? I said, I'm dead serious. We walked off of that field and we walked over there to where the stands were, where all the parents were. And the parents was like, what happened? What happened? And I explained to them. While one of my players had to go to the hospital, and was my ego greater than the concerns of those players possibly getting hurt, more getting hurt? And I broke and I cried with my team because I said, I'd be damned if anything happened to y'all where we got to drive. I said, drive down the mountain because we was in Knoxville, Tennessee. To drive down this mountain with me to have guilt that something that detrimental happened to you all that I got to live with. Life is greater than football. And we all cried together because that's where my heart was. And that day taught me about there's no such thing as quitting. And from that day forward of my coaching, where I used to, when kids would quit football and go on their way, I would circle the team up and I would tell the team that, see, they're quitters. Only men play football and can handle football. And I was so dead wrong to teach them that. And what I learned from all that was, sometimes in life, it's time for a new start. I watched a video from TMZ today they popped up and I saw that Boosie goes off on the police or whatever. And he's sitting here going off to the police officers. He said, I'm sick and tired of this, man. I'm tired of this. When are we going to be able, man, to go through and without being harassed by the police? I'm just tired of this. And I'm like, move. What's wrong with you uprooting and move? that you get to a point that you're just sick and tired. Who told you that you're supposed to be in one place for the rest of your life? Who told you this? Who said you can't uproot and move? If you're sick and tired of something, or tired and sick, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Then make some moves. Stop complaining and do something about it. And my hats go off to Kenny and Terry because they did something about it. Because me and my wife would talk and say, how much can they endure? How much, how much is when you realize that I might be in the wrong place? Because when we're trying to make strides forward, there are those that there are just too many that are out there who's out here who is just taking. That maybe we need to find a place that has less of this. One thing touched me in one of the African countries I've been to was Namibia. And though we know, the Germans are there and have, colonized it, and you know, you see more Europeans down in this area of Namibia, Botswana, and South Africa than most of the African countries I've been to. And um, but there was one thing that stood out when I was there in Namibia. A brother told me that they take pride in not begging from people. He said, "Man, you're not going to find really nobody that's really going to really come up and really, you know, beg from you." And my whole time there, nobody came up like, "Can you give me?" I thought that was kind of special. Now, I ain't saying that it ain't crime free. What I'm saying is that if the people have a so-called respect for oneself, that means not to take. That's what Nikomi means. When my name was given was Ni means chief, and Komi means one who does not take, the one who is able to give. When they gave me my name, I was like, that is so like me. I don't steal. I don't take from people. I try to help people. And why wouldn't I want to be in a place that though there are people who don't have the means financially, but still have the heart? I'm not saying that Gambia don't have good people. Not at all. No, 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 no. I wouldn't dare say that. I can find good and bad in every place. What I'm saying is I believe Kenny and Terry had got to the end and say, let's continue to try, go on to a next journey of life where maybe we can find a little bit more peace and not have the worries of somebody invading into our space that we have to continuously look over our shoulder. Can you imagine every time you leave your house, you got to wonder, is somebody in there? What kind of peace can you have to go out, go to functions and people's parties? In the back of your mind is somebody in our place right now? Yeah, because I did 4 videos of Gambia because I only can get the news, and there's a lot of people that don't just get the news out that in these other countries they get stolen from, and I've done some other videos in other countries, but people I did a video and told everybody, man, Joker tried to daggone pickpocket me there in Ethiopia. Thank goodness I had my pockets, I had a certain type of pants that I wear when I travel. And thank goodness he could not get to my phone. He tried. And I had my tripod in my hand and I hit that joker across his back. I just missed his head because he ducked and swung on that joker. And the young lady that I was with, the Ethiopian sister there, and she hit on the other guy. Yeah, I've had mine. So I'm saying that it is crucial for you not to make a decision that might you might think is placed for you, but you haven't given it time. I like to say this right here. Time tells on everybody. Time reveals itself. That's the beautiful thing I love about life. It will present to you what you need at the time and the moment that you need it. It will give you the discernment of people when you allow the time to reveal itself. This is anywhere you go to. It's a problem when it comes to relationships. We are quick to jump in the sack with somebody. We are quick to call somebody friend. We are quick to call somebody, let people in our inner circle. We are so quick. And then all of a sudden, when we're taken advantage of, we point fingers at them like they're the wrong ones instead of pointing fingers at ourselves saying, I didn't give it enough time. Because we already know a lot of us have issues. So I want to say that, if many of you all are interested in trying to, I just did a consultation day before yesterday, and this guy wanted to know about 6 countries, and I said, man, look, yo, I can't, I'm not, you're only bound. I'm only bound because he paid for it. I can give you, 2 or 3 countries. That is it, because the rest is a waste of time. Why would you want to try to figure out 6 countries when you got to narrow it down to, you should narrow it down to 2 or 3 and do your homework and then go visit, then mingle, get to know people and see what is the place for you. Because each country is different within itself. I think it's really incumbent upon us, you know, to really look at this thing, especially YouTubers. We are the information for people. And to take that lightly, not to share with what is the real deal going on in these countries, is really setting other people up for failure. And there are those who are open and will share. There are those who will invite you in and let you know their struggles, their goods, their bads. I love those ones there because they're keeping it real. They're not holding anything back, and they're gonna let you know their gains, their losses, and all that right there. But there are many YouTubers that I question and like, man, only thing they want to talk about is the positive, and then you come over and all of a sudden now you're like, what? Because our people want to gravitate towards more of those who were like and follow the masses when you should already know we have a lot of problems. Why would you want to go ahead and be in places where everybody's congregated together? I would spread out. I'm not saying not go to the country, but when you're frequenting, I can't even say that, um, going to places all the time with others and you got the same conversations. You know, you come to Africa and you're talking about America's government. Thought you got free from that. Now, I have conversations on America, and that's only because it's to open the eyes up for the people who don't understand or realize really how America is. Because then I can show, look, this is what's going on in America for those who see or has an inherent seeing it, but to show them this is what you're going through and why you're feeling the way and you're frustrated, but you ain't made no moves. We got to be wise, y'all. We got to be wise in what we're doing and where we headed. And if you are not making that effort, then you're going to lose a lot of time, effort, and money. Now, I'm not saying that Kenny and Terry made any mistake. Hey, it's just is what it is. Decisions, with every decision, believe me, I made many decisions, and boy, I try to figure out where did I go wrong, But such is life, though. Such as life. And I had to admit too that every decision I made wasn't consulting of the Most High at all. It was a lot of my own doing. That's why I have to check myself on when I'm doing these investments or making these moves in life. Am I doing it off of emotions? Am I doing it out of fear? Am I doing it because of ego? Am I doing it because of trying to look good or have a reputation? I have to check myself because that's where you will find a lot of issues. Okay, let me read what y'all got to say up here. So, I wish Kenny and Terry well, on their next journey. I really do. And I hope they can reach out to me so we can have a talk. I told them, hey, they give free consultations. They're pioneers. They're the ones who's creating the path for those to follow. And the great thing about it is that they were at least open and honest to share with people their issues that happen and their change of decision want to go. And they have a wealth of knowledge of the Gambia to share with people. They have a wealth of knowledge from the experience that they have gone through. That where I would love, like I told them, I would love to do an interview with them so that we as a people can learn, um, because I believe that the more we share, the better off somebody else is going to be. There's always the forerunners have to go through more heartache and pain. And we know there are people who wants to sit back and wait till everything's finished and complete and good, then they want to jump on board. And so be it. That's okay because sometimes you're the last one and you miss out. And sometimes you don't get the price in the beginning that others have paid. So, the forerunners are the ones who actually go endures more than the rest because everybody get to learn from their mistakes. It's like Rick and Cynthia there in the Gambia. You know, I loved about them is that they share, man, their losses. They share the problems they have, and it's like, wow, they still endure and continue on. But I like what they say though. If we can make it in America, we can make it anywhere. But see, they are a different breed than what Kenny and Terry are. In a total different situation, two total different couples, two total different backgrounds. So there's not one that succeeds and one that fails. It's just two different stories. For real, for real. And I'm thankful we got brothers and sisters out here who are leading the way. For when that happen, when more people start to come, these videos are going to be out there for years to come. And people are going to sit back and listen to these stories and watch what people did. And it's going to be a blessing for so many people. That's why we should respect those. And, I can understand why there are those who may even ask for sponsoring and helping. And because, there's many people learning from the mistakes, which saves you thousands of dollars if you're on your journey. I get it. Why a lot of people are asking, hey, supports or, they're doing these, the group things or, these, what's the other things they have in private, videos that they're doing projects and stuff because, people are learning and, things cost and information I say is free, but it's the time that costs. See what y'all got to say here. If y'all have any questions, by all means, ask me any question. I'm really a transparent guy. I likes to be that way because I like transparent people. I really do. I mean, and I like to simplify everything. And I want to make sure. Oh, let me mention. Hold up, I almost forgot about my thing here. For those who wants to do a tour in Ghana, I forgot to put my thing up here. If you want to do a tour in Ghana too as well, I'm doing it. I only got 17 slots. One sister that I did a consultation with, I told her that I was doing a tour. She said, I want to go on that. And bought that joker like that. I just saw my email and I've just posted a video with my first advertisement. 17 slots left for this spiritual journey that we're going on. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be great. So for those who might be interested, go to Go Black to Africa, goblacktoafrica.com and be part of that. I'm not sure if the my web designer yet put up the instructions of payment yet, and the disclaimers, or also the deposits that's needed, the payment increment that you can pay. That's all going to be up. If it's not there, I would say hold off first and foremost. But I'm just taking 20, actually 18 people. I want to keep it small, and I want to keep it special, and I'm going to keep it exclusive, so it's more personal, and that you have access not only just to me, but to guides. Guides are there and asking questions, and those, when we go on these in these areas, you have more access to the tour guides that are there at these places to ask those questions, those personal things, and to be able to feel and touch personally in a smaller setting the spirituality of the thing. Alexis asks, what are my top three countries I recommend? Now, Alexis, we all have our own perceptions and we have our own views. I am a total different man than most. And for me to recommend, it would be a disservice. But see, this is where my consultation is so important, because my thing is, before I even do my consultation, when people, I give them the first 10 minutes, please tell me a little bit about you, and then give me an understanding. Are you married? You got kids? And what is your view, your vision? What are you trying to do? Because people, when they do my consultations, I give you a certain amount of questions that you can ask, so you ask those questions, but I want to know a little bit about you. So then I can recommend, because you might be middle class, and then yet you might be a little funny about accommodations. You might want to be around those who might be middle class. You might be want to be those who want to be in upper class, and then you might be one who says, I don't care. I'm just living a simple life. I'm not concerned about air conditioning. I'm not concerned about hot water, and it don't bother me if I don't have electricity all the time, or it doesn't bother me if I have to ride on dirt roads. It don't bother. See, I got to know about you before I recommend. That's the wealth of the knowledge of having. And that's the thing where then I can give you rightfully my recommendation or my opinion on countries I've been to. But just to throw those out, it's not that simple. I just can't do that, because then people are going to lean on what I say and say, Go Black said, yo, these are the top three. And I don't believe in the top three. It's what matches you. Where do you fit in? That's why I say get in where you fit in. Where do you fit in at how you are? How do you fit in? Because every puzzle piece don't fit exactly right, but we can get close. Y'all know how when you used to do the puzzles and you try to fit that puzzle piece in there, and you were like, yeah, it goes there. But you knew in your heart, it's not really the piece, but it's going to work for right now because it's almost fits. And then eventually, as you go through and all right there, and you're like, let me move this piece out because it don't belong there. This is how our life is. All right, next question. Thanks for that question there, Alexis. I hope that I answered your question in a way. Where am I living? Somebody asked me that. Oh, at Marcus. Okay, yeah, that's not my question. Um, Thank you, culture, spirit, 7 days a week for your heart of giving. I'm gonna say this to Deshaun, because Deshaun, my channel don't have um, moderators and stuff. And the reason why my channel don't have moderators against trolls or negative people is because I tell people we're the moderators. We can ignore those who come in that are the children of the devil, who wants to come and cause division and dysfunction. People like you, who I'll just give this attention because you feel good that I mentioned your name, don't even realize you're cursing your own self. So if you believe that you just got acknowledged and you feel good about that, you just cursed yourself, because you don't know whose I am. And that's real talk. Let's see here. Where are you now? Go back to Africa. Are you still in Ghana? No, you ain't watched my video. I am right now in South Africa. I'm in day one. And I just put out a video right now. It's up there. My last video. And I got so many videos I'm gonna be putting up because I plan on talking to a lot of people. I'm working and I got a huge surprise, a Pan-African leader in South Africa that I might be able to have an interview with. Big name too, y'all, but I ain't gonna say that. You gotta guess, but I ain't gonna disclose that. I'm gonna wait till this happens because if this brother gives me an opportunity, it's gonna be real. Because I connected with somebody here that the Most High connected me with that I think that hopefully I can get that interview. This is your first time in South Africa? Yes and no. I came through the airport to go on over to Namibia, so I didn't get outside the airport, but it's my second time, but first time setting foot on the ground in South Africa outside of the airport. Let's see here. Other questions. Come on with the questions. Where would you recommend for a family? Uh, I think y'all stopped. I think you stopped because you heard my answer to Alexis. Have I ever traveled to Mali? Excuse me. Not yet. I will. If you're from there or you there or whatever, hey, send me an email. Go back to Africa at gmail.com. And then let's try to set something up down the road. I'd love to have contacts on the ground. Let's see here. Let's see. When am I going to Ethiopia? Well, I've already been to Ethiopia, but I got to go again because I'm going to be doing tours there in Ethiopia too. Got a young brother there that I'm going to be working with. But I'm on a mission this go round here when I go because I am going to be doing a comparison with the Bible that's in the hands of many around the globe to their Bible that they have to compare what the old writings were saying. And I want to show how much has changed since then. Yeah, while I'm here in South Africa, I'll be going to Cape Town. I'll be going to Durban. I'll be also here. I'm in Johannesburg right now. So, yeah. What do you think about South Africa? Thus far, I don't have enough information except for the fact that, of course, always us African people were beautiful, beautiful. And I've had a couple people already said, "I'm gonna take you around. I'm gonna show you around." These areas like this aren't the real South Africa, which I know. That's why I like to try to connect with the locals. And the video I just did is of the locals having a conversation with a brother who sells food there on the street. You know, I mean, I'm not the type really to really, um, if you notice, most of my videos are about small business people, small business people, the locals. I don't touch much middle class and up because I know most of our people coming from America and other places are probably in the lower middle to lower class, and they want to see how can they do it, how can they start off small and all that. But to show people who make billions or millions of dollars in Africa doesn't, for me, it can motivate and encourage people, but many of our people aren't coming to make strides like that. Many of our people are coming to Africa to buy land, to build a house, trying to start a small business. So I'm trying to stay right in that area. Oh, I can get classy with them. Y'all see me in just regular old raggedy t-shirts, and I can suit it up. I can be on here with a suit, a tie, a jacket, whatever, and I can present this whole thing to be higher echelon and draw those type of people and make good money off of it if I so choose. But no, I choose to look out for the mass majorities of our people who really are trying to do what they feel is best to come into Africa, don't have much financial means, but yet are going to give it a try or try to move whatever with little to none off of what they've earned or sweat their butts off trying to get. So, five-star hotels and interviewing and fine dinings and stuff, it has its place. But for me, um, many of us aren't staying in those places. And I don't want to have people to believe move into a place, these areas here, which is going to suck your money up quicker than quick. And it's going to make you less successful being in the continent. So I got to keep it simple and at a level where I know our people are. You can ask your question on. I go back. Have you ever visited Gambia? Yeah, I was at Gambia. I got a video up. I did a quick. I think I have two videos. I think of Gambia, because, in my opinion, Gambia is a simple, small country, and there's not much really to it in the aspect that it's got the tourism sector of the country getting money from. It has people who are working hard, hustling, bustling, and doing their work, and they're living their lives, but it's at a smaller scale and it's quick to get around. And in my opinion, not much to show. And you notice I don't want to offend anybody, because I believe Gambia is for those people who that attracts them to that, and they can live. It's a peaceful place in the sense where it's laid back. I call it. It makes me. It gave me the feeling of a country town in America. Yep, I've been there. How is the spa industry? Is it an area that may increase? Are you talking in South Africa? I'm gonna say here thus far in South Africa. Now I've only been in one spot so far. I'm gonna be getting out of the areas here. Like I said, I'll be visiting three different cities in South Africa, but I will be doing other suburban areas in Johannesburg and probably in Cape Town, what have you. But I want to get down to the gritty, to the locals, to that realness of a story. That I feel I should be telling that story. You're welcome. Let's see here. What else questions we got here? Thank you for the announcement. Okay, all right. So let's see here. Let me say this right here. Don't go there. Don't support the system. Racist people and governments are killing the innocent people in Oromia and Tigra. That happens everywhere, yo. It's happening everywhere. You can't just pick on Ethiopia. Right here in South Africa, they had a sad situation of a mass murdering 14 people over in Soweto. America has its problems. Europe, UK has its problems. Canada has its problems. Every place has its problems. The question of it is that where can you find more of a peace than you can in certain other areas? Yes, you have wars and civil unrest in many places at times. They spark up, come and go. You can wind up selling in a place and something pops off like that. It happens. It happens. And I don't believe that anybody knows where and when it will happen. It just happens. What is my view on Ethiopian people? They're people, people. What I like about Ethiopia is it has its own different vibe to it, its own energy, it has its own. It was special to me. Each country is so different. Um, that I want to do towards in Ethiopia for those who are in a those who are call themselves Christians, or those who are in the Bible, those who want to go further and deeper into understanding the history of the Bible that they read or study or what have you, that they can go into a country that has a rich, long history to give them further understanding in how things were before the Europeans got their hands on it and twisted this whole thing of Christianity. Um, it's definitely different. You're speaking of starting a business. Okay. What was your question? I remember the name now. I've been talking. So you see here, you said, how's the spa industry? Let me say this right here, because people ask me the question all the time, and those y'all know I'm a businessman. And I believe it don't matter. You know, people think that Um, a business is the business. The business is you. It's you do the work. It's you who create it. So the business is really you. If you're a wreck, your business will be a wreck. If you believe that your business can't compete or your business does not need it, it's because that's how you are. I'm just going to keep it real with you. I had to realize this as a businessman. Everything about me that I poured into my business was representing me. It had my fears, my doubts, it had my strengths, my weaknesses, it had everything involved in it. Why? Because the business is me. My business reflects who I am. If you're one who is scatterbrains or you don't know how to put things in order, your business will be awry. If you are a type to have things in order and you meticulously do things, your business is going to be meticulous. If you're just bad with money and you don't know how to manage money or budget money, your business will suffer with finances. If you are the business. So when people ask me, how's the spa industry? You think it worked? Look, people were amazed when I first started my business venture with barbershops, beauty shops. And they were like, my family and them were like, how can you go into a city? Because I was in the military traveling around and I opened up two barbershops in two different states in cities that I wasn't even affiliated with. But they were so amazed. How do you go into these states and start businesses and stuff? Aren't you afraid? Do you how do you think that you're gonna do? And you got all these you around because they come and see my places. You're surrounded with all these barbershops. How do you? Because nobody's like me. Nobody can compete like me. Nobody can do it like me. Not to say that I'm better. I'm saying they can't do it like me. That means I want to come bring in something different, a new breath of fresh air, different than anybody else is doing. So as I go around and I do research, and I do my market analysis, I see how the area is. I try to find what is the need that the people want. This is what I found when I went to barbershops and stuff was I listened to people when I asked them about where do you go get your hair cut, how do you like your barber, and all this stuff right here. The number one thing I heard was their barbers are not consistent in coming to work. I said, what? Huh? Yeah, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they come in late, sometimes they leave early. I said, oh, for real? And guess what I did? When I hired people right here, I said, I don't care if you are renting a chair from me, you will work a consistent time. Now, you can set your hours, but as long as you're consistent, because you're an independent contractor. But I'm not looking for people who's going to come in my shop and just can uproot and leave at any time and then have your customers coming in bothering me where you are. And then they want to sit in my chair taking up time from my own customers. No, if you're coming into Midtown Barbershop, that was my shop's name. I had Midtown 1, Midtown 2, Midtown 3. I had a barber beauty supply store. And I'm telling you all, I had beauty shops. That was my first business venture before I got into real estate. And I was like, every barber will be working their subscribe hours that they put. If not, you got to go. And I got rid of some people. So, how is the business for spa? How are you? That's going to determine your business. You're the business. So, find out how you are, and you will already know. Because I have people reach out to me and they say, will this business work over there in Africa? Do they need these type of professions over in Africa? Do this right here? Uh, yeah, they need them. I mean, what more do you want me to say? I mean, how am I going to say if it works if I don't know who you are? Do you know there are people who come to Africa who are bad managing money and they have to go back? If you are failing in America, how will you succeed in Africa? Because the problem is not where you come from. The problem is you. If you believe you're successful and all right there, that means you should be successful no matter where you go. If you know how to manage money and budget to the T, the penny, you know, I'm a type that's right here. When I do my budgeting and finances and all that stuff right there, if I can't find that extra penny, I still will find that extra penny. If them numbers cannot jive right, I stay on to it. It's just how I am. Because if I cut corners, that means my business will suffer and by me trying to cut corners. And then I'm looking around wondering why I failed. I hope that helps. Miracles beneath the surface. There you go, Richmond. If you're good in doing anything, you will have it to make it happen. Make it happen. Thank you very much. From a boy to man. I like that. From a boy to a man. That's right. Um, how much time we got? I got 9 more minutes of questions. Let's see here. Somebody says right here, if you want to go big in business, go for mining and manufacturing. Let me share with you on that one right there. I tell people, stop thinking big and think small. Oh my God, what did he say? You're always supposed to dream big. If you're always trying to hit home runs and you don't know how to hit a ball to get to first base, you're always going to pop out. You're just going to strike out. If you're trying to learn baseball and swing on a bat and you don't know how to swing and you're always trying to knock it out the park, you're going to be less successful until you know how to get on first base. Because there's going to be times that the coach tells you, get on first. Bunt the ball to get the guy on third to get him home so we can score. Walk the ball, get walked so you can get on first. See, it's not all about trying to hit home runs. It's not all about trying to go ahead and dream big. No, because you overlook the big picture. The big picture in what we fell in is doing the small things first. And that is coming with a plan, budgeting and financing for it, right? And then we got to figure out how are we going to look at the market or the area and seeing is it a good place to go ahead and do? Is there a need, in other words? Because we were told this right here, location is what makes successful business. That ain't true. You can find business that are on the main drag with all the traffic, and you see businesses go out left and right. So it's not true. I had people who would drive 2 hours to get a haircut, many when they want to come get their haircut, to come see me. A good businessman can set up a shop in the desert and have people come if his stuff is really good. People will come if you know what you're doing. Dreaming big or having big ideas, the homework is the small work. I know a young man right now in Tanzania. He knows he is. He probably watched my videos. He'll probably see this, and I've said it probably several times before, that he lost $20,000 off the bat in mining. Thought he had a deal. 20,000 he put in with 6 kids. Hurt him deeply. Scammed. I said, what the hell are you going into mining for? You know nothing about that business. Rule number 1, don't go into something you know nothing about. Well, I'm gonna put my money into this right here, but I don't know. I think I even heard, what's that dude name? The white dude name. He said he don't even invest. I came across this video and I said, at least he knows the rules. I knew that rule. Buffett is what's his name, I think. He said don't invest his money into anything he don't understand. Why would you want to go into a business that you have no clue of? $20,000. And he said that hit him hard because that was the bulk of his money. Dream small. Don't be in a rush. This get rich scheme thing quick overnight does not exist, y'all. I'm telling y'all right here, believe me. I used to think that nothing comes quick. Because just like those who are broke, who wins the lottery, they say, I can't remember the percentage now. Somebody look that up for me and share. That majority of them go broke again. They didn't know how to maintain money. They know how to spend it, but they don't know how to go ahead and maintain it, get it to work for them. They don't know how to. Let's see here. I got 4 more minutes. Anybody got some more questions here? Um, you say, Go Black. I think you can open Go Black to Africa barbershop in African countries. Of course, I can do anything, y'all. I'm done with the barbershop. I mean, to me, that was a chapter in my life. I moved on to something that will give me a greater return. So, but you can, and you're more than welcome to use the name if you so choose. It's a very catchy name. Go Black to Africa barbershop. I like that. Yeah. Somebody said 70%. 70% of the people who wins lottery goes broke. What does that tell you? They lack knowledge. Well, thank you very much, Emily. Appreciate that. Appreciate that compliment. Wish all the best succeed. Yeah, there we go. To kind words. I wish everyone all the best to succeed on the continent. Love you all. Love you too, Patricia. Love you too. Hey, we all need that. Even if you're staying in any country or continent that you are in, we want the best for all, especially all of us who are in a struggle or in a disadvantage of life. We want the best. But I say this right here, and I say this in closing. Every person, let me retract that. Not every person. There's a lot of people that I find who are poor because they have a poor mentality. Isn't that back what I just said about your business will be the reflection of who you are? The business will tell on what type of person that you are typically and how it operates because you're the one who's doing it. I find that the most people I talk to have a poor mindset on one, who they are, two, their capabilities. We think that the outside of us is where the opportunity is. We think that it is the job. We think it's the government who does for us when it's us who do for ourselves. And once you get that, you will rise to where you need to be. It's not the government who you should be doing this to. It is not the job who you should be doing this to. It should be a collective effort when it comes to doing business, working for somebody. It should be a collective effort. If you're taking my tax dollars, you do have a responsibility to go ahead and reciprocate what you receive from the people to give back to the people. It's that they choose to pass bills that they create or laws that takes money out of our tax dollars to support things, programs, and researches and things that a lot of us will disagree with because their hand is underneath the table. Somebody they know is in that business or investors, and they want the kickbacks for themselves. Like I tell most of the Africans that they don't believe that America's corrupt. America's probably one of the corrupt countries in the world. It doesn't appear like it on surface because it trickles down and everybody is making some form of money, though there's a lot of poor people in America. With that, family, did you see my sister back here? She's just listening. She's soaking it all in. She didn't write one thing in the chat. She was listening. And I hope you were listening too. This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all for your beautiful, kind words, your prayers, your heart of giving for those. And look out for, like I said, I got 17 slots left on this tour. They're going to go fast for those who feel as though they're looking for a spiritual connection, wants to go on a spiritual journey, something special. Please look at that right there. Be a part of it if you so choose. And We want to move on even to other tours and all that stuff right there. Look out for my videos that I got coming on now because I'm here in South Africa. I have a lot of things I want to explore, and I want to take you all on that journey so that you can be more knowledgeable as well as be connected with somebody who's on the ground in Africa. So that when you see it and then you hear somebody say, you say, no, 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 no. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've heard it with my own ears by the sources that were there on the ground. Good night.